Biotech stocks taking a leg lower after President Trump said he is preparing an executive order to help bring down drug prices. You can see that right there in NASDAQ, Biotech, the IBB.
Other nations paid less for drugs than we do, sometimes by 60–70%. We're going to be, and we're working on it right now, we're working on a favored nations clause where we pay whatever the lowest nation's price is. Why should other nations, like Canada, but why should other nations pay much less than us?
Let's get to Meg Tirrell for the fallout for pharma. Meg.
Hey, Morgan. Well, you can see that the IBB, the biotech ETF, start to tick lower around 11:20 as Trump made those comments today. And in conversations I'm having with folks in the worlds of biopharma, investing, and policy, they're spooked. Not necessarily because they believe Trump's executive order will actually be enforceable, but because it could signal the president is pushing harder on getting something done around drug prices. The executive order that Trump said he's close to rolling out would introduce a favored nation clause where the U.S. would pay no more for drugs than the country that pays the least. Now, taken to the extreme, this could mean a pretty serious differential in some drug prices. One example is Gilead's hepatitis C drug Sovaldi, which cost $84,000 in the U.S. when it first hit the market and $900 in Egypt. But what I'm hearing is that it's more likely Trump is trying to push forward an idea that would put the prices of certain drugs covered by Medicare, tying those to an index of prices paid by other developed countries. Now, the drug industry doesn't like that plan either, and some of the companies that would be most affected are showing it in their stock prices today, like Regeneron and Alexion, both down 3% and 2%, guys.
Meg, I imagine there's a lot of factors that explain why that drug is so cheap in Egypt, and I also imagine the volumes sold there are much, much lower. So you might see the other thing happen, which is prices get forced to rise in these emerging markets as opposed to cut in the U.S. Is that right?
Well, what the president wants to see happen is that other countries, maybe not necessarily developing countries, but other wealthy countries pay more and for us to pay less. But what I'm hearing from folks around the biotech industry today is that these kinds of reference price ideas is actually making them reconsider whether they introduce new drugs into these markets, if this actually comes into play. So it could lead to access problems around the world if these kinds of rules in the U.S. come into place.